Today we are doing my annual skin tint roundup video. Only this year it is 100% drugstore. I will show you the application and share my thoughts on 5 different drugstore skin tints. Some are new and some are new to me. And this is a collab with my beautiful friend Cindy, who has the wonderful channel Beyond 50 Skin. Cindy is a licensed esthetician as well as a retired occupational therapist. She does lots and lots of skincare on her channel, as well as really beautiful, natural, minimalist makeup. Between the two of us, we are bringing you reviews on 10 different skin tints. So after you finish this video, please make sure to pay Cindy a visit and give her my love. I will have her channel and her video linked in the description box below, as well as timestamps, product links, and discount codes. And speaking of discount codes, I want to make sure to remember to let you know that City Beauty is having a buy one, get one free on my favorite high-end mascara, City Beauty's Beyond Mascara. This is volumizing, it is lengthening, it is conditioning, and it is really long-lasting on my eyes anyway. It is also a little on the pricey side, so buy one, get one free is the perfect time to stock up or give it a try. Details in the description box below. Just a couple of side notes before we get started. My 64-year-old skin is really quite dry, extremely dry in the winter, still dry but a little closer to normal in the heat and humidity of the summer. As far as skin prep, for consistency's sake, I did use the same moisturizer and SPF for each application I'm sharing with you today. For moisturizer, I used Vanicream Daily Facial Moisturizer for sensitive skin. This has been my go-to lightweight daytime summer moisturizer for the past several years. Just picked up a new one. And for SPF, I used DRMTLGY's Broad Spectrum SPF 45. This is an untinted hybrid SPF that is not overly glowy, so as not to alter the shade, coverage, or finish of the skin tint. Enough rambling, let's get into it. Now these are in no particular order. I am not ranking these. We are going to start with the new Revlon Illuminance Serum Tint. I adored the Revlon Illuminance foundation. In fact, it was my favorite foundation that I discovered in 2023, so I was really excited to try this one. This does run about $19 for 0.94 ounces, so a little less than an ounce. You know, I continue to be surprised at how the drugstore prices continue to go up. Having said that, there is some price variation amongst retailers, and you can usually find a discount coupon or a sale somewhere. Oh my gosh, can you hear the rain and the thunder? And do you see how dark it got? I did have to just adjust my lighting, but we are going to power on. Anyway, this does come in 16 shades, which is not bad for a skin tint, but shades are tricky, especially at the drugstore and especially online. Now, the only site that I could find that actually gives a description of the shade is the Revlon site. So for instance, Ulta just lists the shade number and the shade name. I bought 2 from Ulta, 209, which is called Buff Beige, and Revlon describes it as light, medium, neutral pink. There is the consistency of 209. And I also got 213, which is called Light Bisque, and Revlon describes it as medium warm beige. Very confusing that the name is Light Bisque, but it is described as medium. Anyway, neither one of these shades is quite right for me, so I did wind up blending them together to get a pretty good match. However, based on Revlon's description, I do think that 117, which is described as medium neutral beige, might be the perfect shade match for me. But I was able to make this work. As far as the claims, Revlon states this has light to buildable coverage with a healthy looking natural satin skin-like finish. Infused with skincare, and they do make several skincare claims. I personally do not rely on my makeup for skincare, but it does have some really nice skin loving ingredients such as glycerin, dimethicone, triple hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, vitamin E, and ginger root extract. However, it also contains denatured alcohol, which can be drying on the skin, although it is fairly low on the ingredient list at number 12. It also contains both chemical and mineral filters for an SPF of 15. I put that in air quotes because the amount of tint we are using is basically giving us an SPF of 0. I have said it a million times. Please do not rely on your makeup for sun protection. I really like the creamy texture that feels like a moisturizer. It blends easily with fingers or a brush. The coverage is very flexible. It can be applied lightly for a sheer to light coverage or built up to light medium. Like I said, it feels very moisturizing. It has a really pretty radiant finish, but not overly dewy. This delivered pretty much everything I look for in a tint. It looked and felt great on my dry skin, didn't accentuate any texture or settle into lines, and I found it pretty long lasting, especially for a tint. It wore off very gracefully by the end of the day without looking cakey or doing anything weird. It's a good one. And here it is in natural light in front of a south-facing window. It's a really pretty skin tint. I have been a huge fan of the iconic Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. I think I have repurchased this at least 2 or 3 times over the past several years, so I was very excited to try the new Wet n Wild Bare Focus Niacinamide Serum Tint. This is also the most affordable product I am sharing today, well under $10 for over an ounce. This actually has 32 mLs. Wet n Wild is cruelty-free, vegan, fragrance-free, and this contains no alcohol or SPF. Comes dropper style, which I know we are not all super fans of. Now, the Wet n Wild website offers 27 shades, which is amazing. But I picked mine up at Walgreens. They only had, 6 or 7 shades in store, so of course I picked up 2 shades. I picked up the shade Fair Beige, and I also picked up the shade Light Clair. Once again, neither shade is perfect for me, but if I blend them together, I can make it work. Wet n Wild claims this is a luxurious sheer to medium buildable coverage, will blur imperfections so naturally it will look undetectable, and will leave a soft satin glow. Now, it does have beautiful moisturizing skin loving ingredients such as 5% niacinamide, glycerin, squalane, hyaluronic acid, peony extract, and vitamin E. I am going to apply the new serum tint on one side and the original hydrator on the other. The serum is definitely thinner with a more emollient serum-y feeling. It blends really easily. The coverage is really light, just enough to even the skin tone. It is buildable. I can get the coverage up to a light medium, feels very moisturizing, sets down to a really pretty radiant finish. But this one does tend to settle into my deeper forehead lines, although powder does help. The hydrator, on the other hand, is a little bit thicker and a little bit creamier, not quite as emollient and moisturizing, but still really easy to blend. It offers more of a medium coverage right off the bat. The finish is more on the satin side. This does not settle into lines and wrinkles, and the hydrator is longer lasting. Now, both of these do look very skin-like, but I think I'm going to prefer the original hydrator in the summer months, but I think the new serum will be perfect in the winter when my skin is extra dry. Anyway, next up we have Almay's Skin Perfecting Hydrating Tint. It has been ages since I bought anything from Almay, but this is brand new and it really caught my eye. Almay is cruelty-free, vegan, fragrance-free, no alcohol, no SPF, which makes me happy. Mid-price range, $14 to $17, depending on the retailer. Comes in a squeezy tube. Only 8 shades, which is terrible, even for a skin tint. Luckily for me, the shade 120, which is third from the lightest, is actually a really good shade match for me. There is the consistency. Ingredients include hyaluronic acid, squalane, panthenol, dimethicone, Saccharomyces ferment, vitamin C, and vitamin E. Feels really, really moisturizing. Here are the claims. Almay states this is lightweight and hydrating with light coverage and a dewy finish. Recommended for all skin types, including sensitive. As I apply this to my skin, it feels very smooth, very silky, and it glides over my skin beautifully. Definitely very sheer. Just enough to even skin tone, but doesn't actually cover. Very moisturizing and very glowy. I think this will be best for dry to normal skin. I think it's just a little too emollient and a little too glowy for combo or oily skin types. It does look very natural. It doesn't accentuate my texture. It doesn't settle into my lines and wrinkles. You really can't tell I'm wearing makeup at all. Not the longest lasting. It pretty much disappeared off my skin within a couple of hours, but probably good for quick out the door errands, especially in winter when my skin is extra dry. This next one is not new, but it is new to me, and it is the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Skin Tint. Once again, this is in about that $18 price range, and we have another dropper style. This comes in 18 shades. I am in the shade 120, light with warm neutral undertones. You can see it is quite runny. It feels really, really silky. As far as ingredients, it does say that it is infused with vitamin C, but the vitamin C is pretty low on the ingredient list. What is quite high on the ingredient list, however, is denatured alcohol. It is in the number 4 position, and the smell of alcohol is actually quite strong. Now, this is a water-based formula. It does contain some dimethicones, but it doesn't have any of the hydrators that I typically look for. I didn't see any hyaluronic acid or glycerin or squalane. It does not contain any SPF, and I didn't see any added fragrance, although this might benefit from a little fragrance just to take down the smell of that alcohol. As far as the claims, Maybelline states this 24-hour skin tint delivers buildable light to medium coverage for a skin-like finish and a natural radiant look. Vitamin C infused vegan formula brightens skin instantly. Resists sweat, humidity, fading, suitable for all skin types, including sensitive. Now, this has a very thin consistency, but it really packs a punch with coverage. A little goes a very long way, and this provides solid medium coverage with a natural satin skin-like finish. If I'm not really well hydrated, this can look a little bit matte and dry on my dry skin. This is definitely long-lasting even on the hottest days. The Maybelline reminded me so much of the classic L'Oreal True Match Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Serum that I went out and picked up the L'Oreal so I could do a side-by-side comparison. Now, this is not new, and it's not new to me. I did review this a couple of years ago when I did a L'Oreal Foundation Roundup video. Anyway, once again, this is in the $18 price range. And we have the classic dropper, which does get a little bit messy. This only comes in 14 shades. And when I reviewed this a couple of years ago, I had purchased the shade 2-3 light medium, which was a little too deep. So I picked up the shade 1-2 light, as well as repurchased 3-4 light medium. And once again, blending these two together gives me a fairly good shade match. Now the ingredients are very similar to the Maybelline, including denatured alcohol, number 4 on the ingredient list. I still smell the alcohol, but not as strongly as the Maybelline. And I will say the alcohol does evaporate and the scent does disappear very quickly once you apply it to the skin. However, denatured alcohol that high on the ingredient list, you know, it's a little bit controversial, but with my dry skin, I just don't like to use a product with denatured alcohol super high on the list on an everyday basis, but occasionally is okay. Anyway, L'Oreal also contains hydrators such as hyaluronic acid and glycerin, so I do find this formula to be more moisturizing than the Maybelline. As I applied the Maybelline and the L'Oreal side by side, they have a very similar texture. They blend really easily with fingers, followed by a sponge. Similar medium coverage. They both look incredibly natural, pretty much undetectable on the skin. Definitely my skin, but better. I do think the L'Oreal is slightly more radiant than the Maybelline, which is my preference, but still not overly glowy or dewy. And both are incredibly long-lasting. It has been in the 90s here, and they both look pretty much the same at the end of the day as when I first applied them. As much as the Maybelline and the L'Oreal are very, very similar, my personal preference is for the L'Oreal. It has those additional hydrators, and I really do enjoy that extra touch of radiance. Having said that, with denatured alcohol so very high on the list, neither one of these will be my everyday go-to foundation. However, these are both excellent for those days where you need extra long wearing, very natural looking coverage. Overall, there were no fails today. Some really nice drugstore options for lightweight, very natural looking skin tints. I would love to hear your thoughts on these tints or any of your favorite skin tints. And please remember to pay Cindy a visit. I can't wait to see what she came up with. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate your time. Have yourself a great day, and I hope to see you in my next video. You can usually find a discount code or a code, even though it is considered, you know, it does, oh my God, it also contains, however, coupon. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do this again.